Well. You're listening to Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright then, I may say words on point, straightforward. No jibber jabber, everybody forward. Issues, facts and solution. Get it at Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright, what other thing is a revolution? Get it on point with Professor Buitrón. Gloves Off, no nonsense issues, politics, community. A better men follow reader. Gloves Off, a revolutionary show with everything that you need to know. With Professor Buitrón. Watch ya!
Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.
Back at you with Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón, and I have interviewing today a great representative of martial arts, Miss Elaina Maxwell, great champion of the MMA, great woman athlete, great representative of the sport, actually, and a dear friend. How are we doing today, Elaina? You doing good?
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate what you've done. You're an inspiration to many. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to inspire others to train, to motivate them inside the martial arts. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down. How did you get involved? How was it that you said, you know what, I'm going to try kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, or what happened?
So initially, I just used kickboxing as a way to get in shape for collegiate sports because I played volleyball year-round for about 12 years. I started at like 10 or 11 years old, and then I just kept playing year-round club as well. And I got to college, and I needed to stay in shape during off-season. So kickboxing was the latest fad. Like, it was like trendy to go take a kickboxing class. So a girlfriend of mine, we went together, we called 411, and we started going to a kickboxing school in San Jose, and I just kept going, and she went off to be a flight attendant, and then I kept going, and then I took breaks when volleyball season came around. But then as soon as my collegiate or my NCAA clock ran out, then I started doing it more seriously. And I had my first fight in 97, and then it was an exhibition fight against one of my teammates, actually. And so we did an exhibition, and then after that I couldn't find a lot of fights, so I kept fighting teammates. So, you know, in all honesty, I ended up fighting one girl about 10 times because there wasn't anybody for me. So her and I just, you know, had a regular exhibition match going. But then I started traveling and competing more on the amateur market, and I stayed or on the amateur circuit, and then I stayed active amateur for quite a while. I think I was amateur I went pro in 2006.
Okay.
That was
you mentioned something, and you said something about always fighting teammates and so on and so forth. When I had my school in the DFW area in Irving, we had a lot of girls that did boxing in both Sabat, and you didn't have any fighters, especially in boxing. So every smoker you went to, you had to bring your fighter would show up, and the same girls were there, and you knew they were training or had been around for a while when they had 6 or 7 or went open in boxing, because there was nobody there. So if a girl had 3 bouts, you knew that she had been training probably for about 3-4 years, and 5, 7 that meant that she had been there for a good while. It's not until I would say the last 10 years really that women in boxing really developed. Now you can go there and you can find out, and within all the pugilistic ring arts, right? But what you're saying, it's great because that's basically what does happen. When you stuck with it, so that makes you an icon in that fashion. You were one of the pioneers of it, really, in the MMA.
Also, when I went pro, I had to fight somebody 3 times on the professional circuit too, but that was in MMA. So if you check my Sherdog record, like my first 3 opponents was a gal that lived probably an hour or so away from me, but she couldn't find any fights either. So we agreed to fight each other 3 times. So
no, and that's just the way it is. Tell me this: which of your fights do you most remember?
Probably my first fight back from a 2-year hiatus with Kieran Fitzgibbons of CSA in Dublin. He was my coach for that fight, and he kind of got my head right, my mindset, awesome. And I went to this fight in Oklahoma where they were kind of setting me up to lose. And I went over there, and, it was a knockout, I think, within 1 or 2 minutes. It's a great fight. It's on YouTube, I think. And it's versus a gal by the last name of Correo. And it was at FCF. I think it was in Oklahoma, but I forget the date. But that was a great fight. It was, I was with Gracie Fighter and CSA Gym. And, I had a negative record. And when I went to Kieran, and he helped me fix that. So, yeah. That was probably one of my most memorable fights. Also, the weight cut was epic too.
Right. I was going to ask you, how would you prepare yourself for those that are out there wondering? Because there's a lot of preparation when you're training in the ring.
Yeah, I would train every day. I'd probably take like 1 day off a week, but I would train twice a day every day, like once in the morning, once in the evening, or, maybe I'd take a 12 o'clock class and then do some CrossFit or some cardio, and then take a break and then go back and train between like 6 and 10. So I would literally train maybe like 6 hours a day, and it was grueling. I mean, it's hard work. And then even when I had a full-time job, I would train every night from 6 to 10, and then I would just eat right during the day. And that's what I did before. I was working at Toyota, and I was working in the HR department at Toyota. And then I would train at night, like 6 to 10 every single night. And then or Saturday mornings, I would train like 12 to 4 or like 9 to 1. And I would never miss a beat. My only day off was Sunday. So
Right.
consistency and, training every day and not taking a break in between fights, because that's when you can get ahead. That's really important. A lot of times people say, oh, I'm going to take a couple weeks off. Well, a couple weeks turns into, a month, and then a month turns into 2 months. And then, all that time you could have been increasing your skills. And I think that's what people do. They take too much time off in between fights. It's really important to get right back into the gym. Even if you're injured, you could work around your injuries, because nobody goes into a fight 100%.
No, you're absolutely correct. And you see, that's what happens with a lot of youngsters that are running around. They think it's a, number one, their hearts are not in it, right? Or their mind, or there's something that's not there, either their physique, their mind, or their heart's not in it. And they go in to try to class and they want to learn everything without training. They want to go inside the ring without training. You have to be consistent, like you said. You have to train. And not every time you come in, it's a bloodbath within sparring, because that's what they think it is. It's all about. No, you have to condition yourself, and you have to be able to learn the techniques and the combinations and the counters and place them into your game and how you're going to be able to do it. And that takes unity within the club, the coach, the fighter, and the sparring partners. And it's something that has to be mixed well, or else it's not going to happen. And what would you say was the art that grabbed you the most? Was it more kickboxing, more than jiu-jitsu, or?
What art was more difficult?
No, more that you grasp more and you say, you know what, I love this more than.
My first love is kickboxing. Like, I really do like jiu-jitsu. I think it's something that I can do into old age, but I love, 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 love kickboxing. And that was my first love. I mean, well, volleyball was. I wanted to be an Olympic volleyball player when I was in grade school. But then I was able to be, a world champion kickboxer. So that was my trade out. You got to make some changes. So, but it was, honestly, I love kickboxing. I love jiu-jitsu, but I probably would say I love kickboxing a little bit more than jiu-jitsu, just by a couple percentage points. But yeah.
And did you study all the different kickboxings, or which one did you like more? Just American kickboxing, Thai boxing, French boxing, Savate? What would you like most?
Well, I trained under Kung Lee for, 12 some odd years. And so he is an expert in San Chow. So I became an expert in San Chow, and that's punch, kick, throw. It's basically Chinese kickboxing. It's wrestling, and, that's probably the one I focused on the most. But then when I went to Gracie Fighter and CSA Gym, we focused a little bit more on Muay Thai. So I got to, get really good with knees, because knees aren't allowed in San Chow. And, they're very much allowed in MMA, but I didn't really focus on, like the placement of knees and all the different types of elbows. And, then I went to Muay Thai camps, but I learned the most Muay Thai from my old trainer, Kieran Fitzgibbons. He's in Dublin, California at csagym.com. And he is phenomenal. He's also a USA Muay Thai coach. I think he still is. I'm not sure. But he taught me everything I know about Muay Thai. So, and then I went and traveled abroad to a Muay Thai camp in Phuket, and that's where I met my husband. So he's also a Muay Thai fighter, and we're married now, and we have 2 boys.
Lovely little guys.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you they're a handful.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to lead them in the martial art way when they get a little bit older?
I can't wait for my 4-year-old to have a little bit more focus before we go to jiu-jitsu class, because I want to put him into jiu-jitsu or wrestling at least at a minimum. But my husband wants him to be a cowboy and do mutton riding or something like that. It's like riding sheep. And I'm like, let's do jujitsu. And he's like, no, mutton riding. So we're going back and forth on that. But, with all the COVID stuff going on, we haven't really, we've just been at home. So we haven't, I'll do mitts and pads with him. Or not pads, I'll do mitts with him. We have gloves all over the house, and he'll put the gloves on, and I'll have him throw punches. So I'm just teaching him how to throw a good cross right now. He's 4.
For sure. That's that. You see, when you're in a family of fighters, per se, you'll pick it up. You're going to go into it. And one day you're just either going to start following the footsteps, or you're going to say, you know what, it's not for me, but I respect it. And I think that's the best way. I have my 3 kids do it. My oldest did it until she became 13, 14. All of a sudden she said, no, Dad, I'm going to go with Mom. And my son still does it. You know him. My little one, she's done it. She comes in and plays. She's done some of the stick fighting in Houston. She won some of the tournaments, and she said, okay, I already won it. I don't have to do it again. Let me go play with my friends, kind of thing. But eventually I think they're going to end up coming back in. So they'll travel back to the school.
I hope he does some type of martial art in the future, but if he doesn't, it's okay. I want him to choose what he wants to do. Whether he wants to do, boxing or jiu-jitsu or baseball or, whatever he wants to do. I'm not going to push him into a sport, because I know some kids get turned off real easily if their parents push them into a sport. So.
Absolutely. Here, let's change the question a little bit about it. What would you tell a woman out there that's looking for martial art classes or looking for training? What would you tell them to start looking for?
Call 411. No, I'm just kidding. Just Google search the closest one to your house, because proximity is key, and support your local gyms. And if it's not for you after a few months, go check out some other gyms. It's not necessary to, stay at the first gym that you've ever trained at. But I think proximity has a lot to do with it in the beginning, because in the beginning, it's all about just getting into shape.
Sure.
So.
I think it's about gaining a discipline, gaining the discipline of working out. And eventually people grow out of it. Pardon?
Just being consistent.
Right. People are not going to learn if they go to a school and they go once a month or once every 3 months and work out for a week, and then all of a sudden you can see them again and they start training. Well, I'm not learning. You have to be consistent for you to be able to pick up the technique. And
it's only an hour a day. So, if you look at the grand scheme of things, out of a 24-hour day, if you were to put an hour, and even if you have kids, you could still, carve out an hour every day to do something,
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes kickboxing might not be for you, or savate might not be for you, or kempo, or jiu-jitsu. There's other martial arts out there. And sometimes really martial arts not for you, So a lot of people look into martial arts as a microwavable self-defense. Sometimes it's not. It takes time for you to develop those skills. And you have to have consistency, So there are other means as self-defense if you need that, or you're searching for that, you do. But a martial art, if you have the discipline and the consistency, as the way you place it, you will do good in the long term. And that's basically what it is. For a young competitor going into the ring, what would you tell them?
Listen to your corner.
Absolutely.
Trust your corner. Don't go off of the plan. Like, I hate it when I have coached fighters and, we have this whole game plan, and then they just stop. They think they know better than me, even though I have like a bird eye's view. And I know my old trainer used to get super pissed off. You work on a game plan throughout the whole camp, and then you get a fighter who is like, I'm going to go do my own thing. It's like, okay, well then maybe, if you're not going to listen to your trainer, then why are you even training at that gym? So go elsewhere.
You're absolutely correct. And some fights are won by the corner. And during the rest round, they already know the mistakes the other fighter's doing, and they're telling you what's going on. So pay attention to them. Those are great words for people to adhere to, because if you do not pay attention to your trainer and exactly what are you doing at that school, this is something that I don't like. You get folks in here from other martial arts. They'll come in here and train. You know me. They start training. They say, well, we do this over here. Okay, well, why don't you try it this way? It might work. You might get better. You might not get hit in the face if you continue kicking that way with your hands in your waist. But so pay attention to where you're at. There's people out there that might change your perspective or views if you pay attention. And a lot of people come in here with a pre-existing mindset that this is the way it's done and I'm not going to change it. Well, then why are you doing it? Go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's important to, kind of get out of your comfort zone, especially when you're learning, and to always keep an open mind. And maybe everything this coach or this person says doesn't work for you. Maybe there's a couple things that works for you.
Right.
Say in jiu-jitsu, like certain moves are not for your body type. Like for somebody who's short and stocky, maybe they're not going to specialize in a triangle.
Right.
Maybe they're going to specialize in an arm bar. And somebody who's over 6 foot, maybe they're going to be awesome at a triangle and not so much at an arm bar. It's, you take what works for you and, your body type and your, skill set, and you just go from there. So I think that a lot of times people go into a new gym and they think they know everything and they're not coachable. And those are the people that come in and they're like, oh, I just want to come in and hit the bag.
Yeah.
No. I just want to come in and hit the bag right in the middle of class. When you're, and, it's like, I don't know how many gyms allow that, but I know that could be really distracting if you're teaching a class and there's some random person, just hitting the bag in the background because they don't want to take the class. It's like, okay, you can hit the bag, but not during class time, so.
I've had them, and I basically tell them, this is not for you, go out. Or they come in there and they tell you, you're 38 years old, they come in, they tell you, I want to go into the ring. And you teach me to go into the ring. Have you done martial arts before? Have you been in the ring before? Oh, never. And I hard, there's limits. And the ring is for a young man, a young woman. And there's a certain age limit that we ourselves have to say, you know what, I'm no longer there. But that doesn't mean we cannot help people get in the ring and win. And that's a difference, and we have to, it's inside the ring, it's a young man's art. I'm not saying that martial arts isn't, or self-defense isn't. I'm just saying that the ring, it's a young man's art. And if you've never done it and you're, I would say, over a certain age, 30 above, and all of a sudden you say, you know what, I want to go into the ring now because I saw a fight, that's kind of hard to get in shape, learn anything, and jump in. Some people will take you, but those that will take you might not really care for you, so that's the way I think. But other than that, what's your next step within the martial arts? Going out and helping local clubs or forming one by yourself?
We were thinking about opening a gym, but it is a lot of work. And, I've already spent half my life in a gym, and I have 2 boys, and I want to spend time with them and enjoy watching them grow up. So I don't think we're going to be opening a gym anytime soon, but I will be taking them into martial arts gyms as soon as they're old. Like my 4-year-old, he's just about ready. We're just waiting for, all the COVID stuff to pass. Maybe this fall we'll take him into a class. I think the gyms are opening back up now, so I'm gonna have to get him a gi. So, but we already got him some tie shorts, and like I said, we are already doing pad work at home, and he loves it, but I don't want to, just drill it into him like, oh, we got to do this every day. Like it's a chore. We don't do it every single day, but we'll do it a couple times a week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So once again, I want to thank you for the counsel. I want to thank you for the insights, especially the word for everybody out there that's looking for training. Remember, it's consistency in training, and to pay attention to your trainer. So those are great words. I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for what you've done in martial arts. And we'll see you soon. Okay. And you all take care.
You. I appreciate you having me on.
All righty. You be safe. Till next
All right.
time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Peace.
Bye.